Good morning. I hope you're having a very blessed Monday of Holy Week. Let's get started with a prayer. We will be doing Math Lesson 118, the new concept of intersecting lines and perpendicular lines. All right, let's bow our heads. Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of your faithful and kindle in us the fire of your love. Send forth your Spirit, and they shall be created, and thou shalt renew the face of the earth. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Can you see my sweater? I wore it for a very good reason. It's showing lines, white lines, this way and this way. And then we have, diamonds, right? And they form lines, don't they? They form lines. All right, now you are going to need either 2 popsicle sticks or 2 pencils or 2 crayons or 2 rulers, something that you can use to play with, since you at school we would be using a geoboard, remember, with our rubber bands. But here you will need either popsicle sticks or crayons or rulers, anything that has straight lines. All right, let's move this over to my table. And hold on a second. I have to move this down. Whoops. I forgot something. There we go. All right, so I have some things here. And I want us to review. What are some of the things that we've learned about lines? Do you remember? All right, let's see. If you said that a line that goes on forever, good, has arrows on either side, and what would that be called? Line, right? Just line. It goes on forever. We assume lines go on forever. And then, do you remember the one that has a beginning but no end? That one's a hard one. We don't use it very much, and we call that here it is, a ray, like a ray of sunshine. See, we pretend that's the sun, and the rays come to us, the ray of sunshine. And now, one last kind, the one that has a beginning and an end. What is that called? Here's the one that has a beginning and an end. It's called line segment because it's a piece of a line that goes on forever. Copy and paste it. Yep. And that's why it's called a line segment. Those are the kinds of lines we know and we talked about. And these are single lines, right? Now let's talk about when we have 2 lines or 2 line segments and how they can interact with one another. Okay, we've already done one kind. Let's see, do you see that? Yeah, one kind right there. And not these right here. I'll take these out of the way so that they don't fall off. And this is one that we've talked about before. What do you notice about them? Yep. They're exactly 2 inches apart here and 2 inches apart here, which means, if they stay in the right place, which means that if they go on forever this way and they go on forever this way, anywhere we choose to measure, they would always be exactly 2 inches apart. Anywhere, no matter how far this way we go, it will always be 2 inches apart. Even in the middle, well, I don't know if you could find a middle, but so here are the parallel lines. And what else do you notice about them? Yeah, they will never, ever meet, will they? They always run side by side, but they won't ever meet. All right. Now, do you remember what they were called? Yep, parallel lines. Those parallel lines. Do you notice something about the word parallel? They have two L's that remind us what parallel lines are. Good job. Today we're going to be talking about another kind of lines that meet and how they interact with one another. So take your popsicle sticks. I'm going to use popsicle sticks, but you can use crayons. Crayons are a little bit harder because they kind of roll off each other, but sometimes you can get them to stay. Whoop, see? All right. So take your popsicle sticks and make them both, make them meet. You could have put them like that, or like that, or like that. It doesn't matter as long as they meet, right? Now, put your hands up and put your finger exactly where they meet. Right there. Our mathematician friend would say that this is the point of intersection. Point of intersection. This is where they meet. They meet or cross, right? It's point of intersection. Can you say that? Good. Point of intersection. And now because they have a point of intersection, we can say that these line segments are intersecting lines, right? So we're going to be talking about intersecting lines. So what did yours look like? Something like that? Did any of you have something like this? Like that? You have a very special kind of intersecting line. We call them, there's a special name for it, perpendicular lines. They are perpendicular lines. Do you see how I'm using a corner of a folder to check to make sure that we have something called a right angle. Because if you look at papers, they have right here, this corner right here, they're exactly at a right angle. We call that right angle. And so when two lines meet, this one, and they form this little tiny square right here, that's what we call perpendicular lines. So we have two different special kinds of names for lines that don't meet. Remember, the ones that don't meet are called parallel lines, and lines that meet and cross or just meet, and they're exactly at right corners, right there. They are called intersecting lines. I'm sorry, not perpendicular lines. Yes, they do intersect, don't they? Perpendicular. See, I bet you could have spelled something this big just by sounding it out because of the syllables. Perpendicular. And we're actually going to write line segments because we know that they are pieces of a line. They're not lines that go on forever. We couldn't handle lines that go on forever. Couldn't fit in my house. All right. So there's my perpendicular lines, and we've checked it. Can you take a piece of paper and check it and make sure that you have a perpendicular line, two perpendicular line segments? Okay, now I have little things to show here. They are little squares. And perpendicular line segments or perpendicular lines have exactly at least one right angle. We call these right angles when they form a little square in the corner here. Exact. Can you see that? I'm going to lift this up a little bit. I think it's easier if you see it this way. Mine are very straight, but if you pretend that they're exactly straight, then you can see that we have perpendicular line segments because we have a right angle here and a right angle here and a right angle here and a right angle here. And perpendicular lines have at least one. Did any of you have just one perpendicular line, one right angle? Let's take a look. How could we do it so we only have one? Here's a one that only has one. And it may not be exact because popsicle sticks kind of move around. But that would be what a perpendicular line segment with one right angle looks like. See how they meet? And see how there's a little square there? Now let's take a look at your paper. All right, let's see if we got that. Perpendicular line segments. So on your see right here? What we're going to do is we're going to have you take your ruler. Let's see. I'm going to show you some types first before you do this. I'm going to show you some types of perpendicular lines. What do you notice about them? What's the same? I'm going to put this up so that it's easier to see. What do you notice about them? How are they the same and how are they different? Yeah, if you said they all have straight lines, you're right. Even this one has straight lines. They're different. Some of them cross, some of them don't. Right? What else did you notice? Some of them are turned on their side like this one. Yep. And this one has one at the top and a line at the bottom. Yep. Good. You guys are really observant. Well done. Do you think that all of these are perpendicular line segments? Why? How can we check? I am going to check with the corner of my... Yep, that's a perpendicular line segments. Perpendicular line segments because they have two right angles, right? This one, how many right angles does it have? It has one, doesn't it? What's this little thing down here? Mr. Mathematician, what did you do there? How come there's a little square there? Look, there's a little square there. Do you see it? It looks like somebody drew it there. Oh, so you know what he's saying? He's saying that mathematicians show one another that they've already been measured and they've already been looked at with special instruments. And to show everybody that they are right angles, they're going to draw a little square. They don't need to use these little things. They can go ahead and draw a little square. How many right angles do you think this one has? How many little squares do you think our mathematicians would draw? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not a very... There you go. Look at that. How about this one? How many right angles does this perpendicular line segment pair have? 1 and 2. Wow. How about this one? If you said 4, you're right, because there are 2 down here. Go, and what I'm going to have you do is take your worksheet, and at the very top, see how it says perpendicular line segments? Make sure you have your name and date. You can put your date here, and your AMDG. And on your sheet of paper, I want you to draw with your ruler here it is. Draw with your ruler some perpendicular line segments. Okay? In each box, draw two perpendicular lines. Okay? A pair of perpendicular lines. Okay. That may look like anything like this. Now, when you're done with that, I want you to put I want you to show everyone that they are at right angles, and therefore we can call them perpendicular lines. This is what mine looks like. Yours is going to look different. See right here? I have a set of lines that come together to make perpendicular line segments. And I am showing that they're at right angles with our little squares there. Right there, see? I am using, so make sure that you put little squares to show that they are perpendicular line segments. Oh, did we forget this one? How many do you think that this one has? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you said 4, you were right. There you go. That's what you should do with your worksheet today. God bless you. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.